Hello everyone, this is Scarzig, and welcome back to another episode of Duelyst. Today we're going to be playing some Vespyr Kara. So let's jump in and take a look at this deck list before we hop onto the ladder. We've got 2 Aspect of the Fox, just as general removal, of course. Since I'm running 2 instead of 3, I felt like 3 was kind of clogging my hand. Even though it combos with your walls, you really want to save these for removal anyway. And I felt that having 3 sort of made me too reactionary. Like, I would want to save the Aspect of the Fox just so that I had removal, and then it would end up clogging my hand. So I think that having 2 of them is fine. You just have to be really precise about what you use them on. You need to be you need to already have in mind what you want to use it on going into the match, in my opinion. We've got 3 Snow Chasers, 3 Vespyric Call, 3 Bone Shield Barrier, 3 Crystal Cloaker, 3 Gravity Well, 2 Frostfire, 2 Hearth Sister, 3 Cryogenesis, 3 Glacial Elemental, 2 Snow Rippler, 2 Spelljammer, 2 Razorbacks, 2 Voice of the Wind, 2 Frostburns, and 2 Jack's True Sight. So you can see right off the bat here in my early drops, I have a lot of Vespyr synergy built in here to backpack off of the Glacial Elementals, because when you're getting the Glacial Elemental Bone Chill combos or your Snow Chaser combos and things like that, you want to keep your opponent's board under control, right, with the Vespyr deck, until you eventually just flood the board so much that they get overwhelmed, or you've stalled the game long enough to where you can get Jack's True Sight, Razorback combos. We also have the Frostburn in here as a fail-safe in case we get outswarmed, because every once in a while this deck might draw slow, and then you really get stomped. This deck is definitely about keeping up the early presence, especially with Gravity Well plays that early allow you to play your Crystal Cloakers and Snow Chasers right into infiltrate range and start cycling that value immediately. We're also showcasing the Dark Jammer, which is a skin that was given away for the Dawn of the Duelyst backers. So right off the bat here we do have our Gravity Well Snow Chaser combo. And we will replace Jack's True Sight. And honestly, this looks like a really solid keep. I could probably get rid of the Hearth Sister. And just to maybe get a bit more utility in our hands, maybe like a better follow-up. Alright, so going first, I can play the Gravity Well, which is 2 mana, and then get 1, 2, 3, 4, you see? And then that would give me these 2 mana springs, and then I can just play the Crystal Cloaker right in infiltrate range. So I think that we're going to do that over the Snow Chaser. Or, Snow Chaser might be slightly better because then I can trade and resummon it with the Glacial Elemental. So I think we're going to go that route, actually. Alright, excellent. So playing the Snow Chaser here further keeps Argyon bobbled up on his side of the board, right? He has to step up defensively like this, and if he wants to move forward, he'll only be able to move 1 space forward. So this forces him to step up and away from our little provoke nest we have here, and if need be, we can start summoning our units defensively amongst these Gravity Wells. Whoa! Okay, so that's really good for us, because we can do Glacial Elemental into Snow Chaser. And then the ping goes right on the cannon of Mechazor. Let's see. Voice of the Wind, probably a bit slow because generally you want to combo it, but I don't really see a reason why I wouldn't want to hold on to it. So I think we'll just keep it for now. I want to try to get this Spelljammer developed next turn so I can begin refilling my hand. Vespyr decks are inherently combo-y and spammy because you want to abuse your Glacial Elemental. You want to do a lot of out-of-hand stuff that your opponent can't react to. A bit like Healinar, right? Where you have a lot of synergy, but you need to try to drop it in one turn as much as you can to give your opponent less time to react. And so I want to get the Spelljammer developed where I'll be able to start refilling my hand from all this spamming that I'm doing. Summoning the Snow Chaser here also blocks for the Glacial Elemental a little bit better. Even if he moved forward, he'd still need to deal with the Gravity Well, but anyway. Ooh, he's actually stepping away. Wings of Mechazor. I think I have Chromatic Cold. I have 2 copies of Chromatic Cold in this deck, I think. So I definitely want to get that developed. Let me see here. So I can Cryogenesis 1. Step down, hit this, move the Glacial Elemental all the way back, and then we'll get the Snow Chaser spammed there, and then redeveloped for 1 mana. And then that pings out the other Wings of Mechazor. So I'm managing to get really solid control of the board here. It's just that it's because he's playing Mech, you know what I mean? I need to begin fishing for an answer to Mechazor. Or if I was having a more aggressive opening, then I would just be able to stomp him in before the Mech becomes an issue. Sunbloom. That's fine. Dispels the Glacial Elemental, so that's 2 mana just to deal with this. Man, isn't the Spelljammer sexy? I love that skin. And with like the blue and white, it like just matches the Vespyr theme. Let me see. I can go Aspect of the Fox, leaves me with 4 mana. Then I could go Kinetic Surge, Snow Rippler. So that's probably my best bet. Actually, what I can do is Kinetic Surge, Crystal Cloaker. And then I can resummon the Snow Chaser again. Take advantage of that 1 mana that's floating, and then it becomes a 3/2. So that is slightly better. Where do I want to summon this? I think here. Because I want to try to corral him back in towards the Glacial Elemental, because I want to keep wailing on him. You can see we're getting towards the late game, but I really haven't put too much damage on him because I've just been spamming the Snow Chaser in order to keep the board cleared. This is, again, sort of the strategy of the deck, where we aren't focusing too much on beating our opponent down. It's just that Mechazor really makes this problematic. So he's got the Sunwisp Holy Immolation combo. Oh, never mind. Displays the Sword of Mechazor. So that's 5. Where's he summon Mechazor? Summons it in melee range. Okay, so that's good for us, I guess. Let's see, 4, 3... I think Voice of the Wind needs to be replaced. It's a bit too slow. I can go double Glacial Elemental. Get a couple pings, but it doesn't do much for me. And this is ranged. Gee whiz. He's only got 2 cards in his hand, so I'm going to refrain from playing the Spelljammer. I suppose the proper thing to do Dang. Oh, I didn't get my attack off! Crud. Because I was hoping that ping would finish off the Sword of Mechazor. And what he can do now is actually swing Mechazor down this way and just hit this gravity well and still get the frenzy off on me. Same thing here, the Sword of Mechazor can come down and get the frenzy off. We'll see if that's what he wants to do. He might even have the Mechazor prioritize taking out the Glacial Elementals, which is why I summon them down here in the corner. Because if I can take out this Mechazor, then I pretty much have the game sealed because I have such a card advantage here. And with the Frost Fire, I might be able to do it. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Take that damage. Alright, so I still have one undispelled Glacial Elemental. Oh, man. That was so rough. Oh my god, he's got range. That's right. Gee whiz. I need to replace into Chromatic Cold actually. Crikey. Ooh, Bone Chill Barrier. Excelente. Whoo! Oops. And Kinetic Surge. I was so concerned with preserving my life that I didn't Kinetic Surge to get extra value out of that. Holy hell. Ugh. I almost just died because I forgot that Mechazor had ranged for a second. So he didn't prioritize taking out both Glacial Elementals, so I was able to get the punish. We'll see how he deals with this, because right now... Oh yeah, okay, so... Dispel, attack... What do you got for me, mate? Harsh. So I've got double Frost Fire, which is pretty cool. So that would be +3, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Mamma mia! Close game. Holy crap. Oh. So now you know, Vespyr, if somebody figures out some kind of crazy OP build and it comes into the meta, then Mechazor is probably a solid matchup against it if they don't get, you know, a board presence already, or if they don't have the Chromatic Cold. Holy hell. That Bone Chill Barrier was really clutch. Alright, so versus Saj, you can replace the Razorback, because we want that to be our finisher. We have 2 in the deck, which makes it a bit more consistent that we draw it when we need it. Don't need the Frostburn right away either. We'll have the Hearth Sister to deal with possible turn 1 Pyromancer. Outside of that, I'll probably open up with the Snow Rippler. I could actually just open up with Glacial Elemental and play this in a more control sense. If and this is rough because what this forces you to do is it forces you to move forward and play something on this tile. Otherwise, Pax moves 2 forward towards your general, and then it ramps them up to 4. So generally, you want to deny that. And so in order to prevent the Glacial Elemental from dying for free, I guess we'll just develop the Snow Rippler, and unfortunately we can't get the Snow Chaser into infiltrate range, so I'm actually going to float that mana and hold on to it. It's more important to deny player 1 ramping up to 4 mana than it is to efficiently use your mana turn 1, especially when you have a 3-drop. An alternate option would have actually been to play the Snow Chaser off the mana, because then Pax just moves 1 forward and attacks diagonally at it. It's just that once it dies, there's a chance the Dervish will spawn on this mana tile anyway, and so I didn't feel like taking that gamble. Gee whiz. So this is board flood going on here. Frostburn looks like it was a pretty decent keep after all. And he successfully boxed me away from these mana spring tiles, I think. I suppose what we can do is just kill that Iron Dervish. And then summon the Snow Chaser, and then Hearth Sister the Snow Chaser. And that'll have to do for now. I kind of like this hand because it has a lot of removal, and because of the Pax opening, it kind of puts us on our back foot. So we kind of want to save the Frostburn as well to deal with this board flood if he continues in this fashion. And shout out to Azure Herald. This is the new card. Restore 3 health to your general. It's kind of wonky because that's a really strong opening gambit, and as a 1/4, it makes it definitely more focused on its opening gambit. Like, it's slightly lower quality as a body than, say, a Healing Mystic, which you don't mind too much missing its opening gambit. But combined with Vitruvian's buffs, a 1/4 isn't half bad because, you know, plus a Silence for Swish makes it into a 2/5, etc. So there's another Pax. Oh! Oh, that's brutal. Alright, so, really puts a damper on my plans here. Because I can Frostburn to undo the HP gain from the Inner Oasis, but fighting our way through all this sludge is going to be a huge problem. The good news is that Pax isn't going to die right away because of that HP buff, so I don't need to necessarily worry about those Iron Dervishes, but damn. Because if he hadn't played that card, I could have maybe went Frostburn this turn and then, you know, mopped up from there. Because I could have just hit Pax and then Frostburned. Yeah, so I guess we're just gonna... Oh god, I could have actually Kinetic Surged. Just gonna give up the center control here. Get some bodies developed. And I'm not going to attack the Pax because I want it to stay alive. That way I can kill it on my turn and then play the Frostburn. Another misplay. I'm not used to... I apologize. I'm not used to using the Kinetic Surge. Should have counted my mana there after I figured out what my play was going to be, so I could have a 3/4 and a 3/2. Ugh, that's brutal. Okay, so... Gonna try to mop this up as best we can. That on 7 makes me really nervous, because when it dies, it'll probably pull an Amera healer from his hand. Jeez Louise. I think we're gonna replace the Glacial Elemental, actually. Looking for Aspect of the Fox or something like that to answer. And I'm having this weird feeling, like, I can't remember specifically if I have Chromatic Cold in this deck. I don't think I do, come to think of it. Because I was kind of just relying on Glacial Elemental and Cryogenesis and Aspect of the Fox. Ugh, man, Scion Second Wish. Yeah, so again, that Inner Oasis really delayed my ability to swing the board back in my favor. And these Azure Heralds are extremely well timed. So we can cryo this, fortunately. And there's the Amera healer. Right now, I need cards. 5, 6, 7, 8. He only needs 1 damage, so if he has another, like, Scion's First Wish or something, then I'm dead. And even after that fact, I need an Aspect of the Fox or something. Oh, Inner Oasis. It's good news and bad news. Yeah, there's a Scion's First Wish. Well played. Ugh. That opening was rough. The Inner Oasis actually draws you a card. So he might have cycled into the Scion's First Wish. So, I mean, goes both ways, I guess. Really hard to deal with that Pax. Let me double check if I have Chromatic Cold, because I thought I had 2 copies. But now I'm pretty sure I don't. Which is really coming back to bite me, because that's one of the best answers for Pax. Maybe we cut a Snow Chaser? It's just so strong with the Gravity Well opening. Maybe we keep the Snow Chaser and just cut Gravity Well. Lord. What do I cut? Maybe cut a Glacial Elemental. Since I want it to be combo based anyway, I don't just want to have them all the time. And then add in... Chromatic Cold. I can't believe I didn't have Chromatic Cold in this deck. It makes me feel really bad. And I still sorta kinda want 3 Snow Chasers though. But I'm hesitant to cut either a Bone Chill Barrier or a Gravity Well for it. So maybe if I did cut down to 1 Razorback. We'll run with this for a little bit. So I think this is the first time I've actually made a change in the middle of a recording. But that was just an oversight on my part. I don't know why. I think I had the Chromatic Cold in an older version of the deck, so when I made changes to it, when I I put the deck back together from scratch, right? I didn't just make changes to the older version, I just rebuilt it from scratch to get a better feel for like the cards I was putting in overall. And I think I just glossed over the Chromatic Cold, and I didn't even notice when I went over it at the beginning of the video, so holy moly there. We can replace, well, going second, you know what I mean? You get your Jax True Sight first, and in the Vanar matchup, Jax True Sight's very deadly because they have a hard time dealing with it. So I think we'll just replace a Hearth Sister, maybe a Frostfire. Okay, got some stuff going on here. This is actually my first time playing the Kara Mirror. Oh, god damn. Another mech deck. Oh, man. That's a brutal opening. Holy cow. Okay, so... he summoned these in such a way that he can't ramp with them. So I think we're just going to go for this. Is Jack's True Sight going to be too slow now? I think so. And plus I have 2 copies, so maybe it'll come back around to me if it ends up not being too slow. Which is one of the things you have to recognize, especially playing Vanar. Back in the day especially, Jack's True Sight was such a huge win condition for Vanar because of the combo with Razorback, that knowing when to play it was like so key to so many matchups. And I think that for this one, it's too slow. So a more experienced Vanar player would be able to tell you, hey, do you keep Jack's True Sight versus Mech? And they might say no. Who knows? But that's my gut feeling. And this sort of going to play out like last time, where I can control the board flood, but I can't actually develop anything threatening enough alongside it. So if he summons something with like 2 HP, like a Helm, Snow Chaser, non-infiltrated, mind you. Hailstone. Ugh. Yeah, so he's just going for tempo, spam out the Mechazor. Frostburn, probably not worth it either, because I'll have Glacial Elemental Bone Chill Barrier to use instead. Might have been actually better for me to step 2 up and then kill the Snow Chaser. That way I'd be able to walk 2 forward and summon onto this mana tile next turn. So, misplay on my part. I could have begun to start getting out of my side of the board. But I at least was able to use the Gravity Well to sneak a Crystal Cloaker over here to start, maybe getting some threat down. If he prioritizes controlling this Crystal Cloaker, then I might be able to slow him down just a tiny bit to take some of the pressure off. That's another key aspect of the game, is that if you're behind like this, you can't be afraid to maybe sort of ignore your opponent's board, like if they don't have lethal on you, and like try to develop some threats of your own, and it might force them to back off. Alright, so we do have Glacial Bone Chill combo, and that will do a handful of pings of damage. But I gotta see where I want that all to go. I can also, it's probably best for me to step up so that I can Kinetic Surge and get the combo going here. Alright, so where do these pings go? That's a really good ping. Okay, and I'm just going to leave that alive, I think. Try to keep my HP up. Ugh, Frostburn. Damn, you're running Mech and Crazy Board Clear? That's a bit rude. Fortunately for us, he's not going to have the mana to resummon that Snow Chaser. I was hoping that I could keep him bottled up on his side and I can try to get out of this Infiltrate. And I really, really, really do not want to play Spelljammer. Because when you're up against Mech, you don't want to give your opponent cards, like, ever. So I think we're just going to replace. And now I'm just going to play strict control and focus on preparing for the incoming Mechazor. Because fortunately for us, he's just been kind of dilly-dallying with Snow Chasers and, you know, just keeping me bottled up on my side. Hasn't really developed any Mech pieces, which is really fortunate for us. So now what I might be able to do is get the Snow Rippler infiltrated. His best bet's probably to step up and around like this, and then I'm just going to run over to his side. Because the Snow Rippler as a 3/4 has pretty decent stats regardless, and like getting the Battle Pet thing is just sort of a bonus. He's been like getting huge value out of the Snow Chaser, which is terribly unfortunate. Finally get some damage on him though. Crikey. Draugr Lord. Now that could be pretty interesting, right? Because if I summon the Draugr Lord, if he doesn't have removal, I've only seen Frostburn, and I think Chromatic Cold actually. Was that this match that he played the Chromatic Cold? But anyway, so if he doesn't have removal, then this Draugr Lord would be really clutch for us. And I think I need to go for it, because I can summon the Draugr Lord, and then Snow Chaser and Infiltrate range. And damn, do I want to take this damage? Yeah, I think I do. Vespyr Call, this is one of the reasons I really like it, is because when you draw the Draugr Lord with it, it's so good. Like as a 6 mana 4/8, it's decent, but as a 5 mana 5/9, it becomes ridiculous because it's a 5/9 that summons a 4/8 when it dies. And so he needs to now deal with this. So he's got the Frostburn. And then what? Cryogenesis? Maw. Okay. You got one more damage, pal. So he is going to take it. Get the 4/8. Okay. Awesome. Now, the Draugr Lord is the Vespyr, but the Ice Drake it summons is not. So let's see. I want to do Kinetic Surge, Voice of the Wind. Frostfire's not super duper important here, but because I have the Razorback, it's probably going to give me some burst. And let me see, 4, 5, 6. I could, if I traded this out and got another 2-drop, that would be the dream. That would be like super duper greedy. But I think holding on to this, because I'm getting ready to get a bunch of Vespers on the board, is probably going to be the best bet. I'm just going to take out this Maw. Now that I'm starting to swing the board back in my favor, I can start taking damage now. But, yep, two cards in his hand, me getting ready to have a huge turn, he realizes that he's got nothing. So, honestly, I think we got really fortunate there because the way he pressured us so hard early, and he had like those frost burns to really nullify everything that we were trying to do. But he just didn't get mechs alongside that. I was so frightened that whole match. So, yeah, shout out to me for getting Chromatic Cold and getting completely stomped in by Saj. So that's why we have Chromatic Cold in the deck. And it turns out that having 2 Snow Chasers is probably a little bit less greedy, right? The 2 Snow Chasers and 2 Glacial Elementals. So probably just focus a bit more on smart holding. Another reason I like a deck like this is because it really rewards matchup knowledge and knowing what to replace and when, which is one of the original reasons Vanar is one of my favorite factions. So glad to return to YouTube, glad to return to Vanar, and I will see you next time. You have a good one.